Welcome back. When we left, we were talking about this idea of you being a child, having a child, and how you've had to grow in this process. And one of the things that was mentioned a few minutes ago is that you have facilitated some groups with Kathy, I guess, as a co-facilitator. How has that been for you?
It's been a good experience. I learned to grow in the group with everybody around me, and now I'm like a leader for a group at my school, and it really helped me a lot. It really helped me a lot go through it. Kathy.
She sounds so sweet when she's talking. I have to say that she gives the people in the group a lot of grief when they don't show up, when they are late, when they're not saying anything. Eva can say it to them in ways that I can't. Okay. And they really listen to her, don't they?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
So you basically create a level of responsibility. They have to.
Yes.
They have to cough it up. They got to do it. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay, and it sounds like in the process of teaching them to do that, you probably got more responsible too.
Yes.
Yeah.
For myself to go to school early, because I was in the group, be in school and all that really helped a lot too.
Yeah, particularly when you know people are, you're a role model and people are counting on you. That's right.
So, yeah, I've been doing better after that.
I think, at this point, do you drive or you still take public transportation?
Oh, no, I still take public transportation on my parents.
Or your parents,
yes,
okay.
They help me a lot.
So part of planning for you to get somewhere isn't just all the baby luggage.
No.
It's bus schedules and the time you need to allow to get somewhere. So, you talked about before planning. So it isn't just the babysitting. It sounds like there's a lot that goes with this.
And then when it's raining or something and it's too cold to take out the baby, it's hard.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard.
So then, your parents will sometimes...
They help me a lot, yes. Sometimes
Okay.
my dad, he's the one who drives us to school and back,
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Now, at this point, is your little girl in school?
Yes, she's in preschool.
She's in preschool.
She's in preschool.
Okay. That's a fun age.
Oh, yeah.
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 Old enough to start, having a conversation with.
Yes.
Yeah, and this one really talks.
She talks?
Oh,
a lot.
Do you think that this experience is maybe going to shift the type of mom you are? Do you think this might make you a different mom than your mom in some ways? Having gone to these kind of groups, having had this position of leadership so young?
Yes. Yeah, I think so,
I mean, I would think, for a lot of women, particularly early in life, it used to be if you got pregnant, it was this horrible thing and you had to go stay somewhere so nobody would ever know. And so it sounds to me like for you having to sort of hang in there and you being especially public about what's going on, my guess is there'd be some real strength that you have developed, strength of character that your daughter is really going to get to benefit from.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that. You brought that up. I hadn't thought about that, of how you might be different than your mom in terms of mother. Can you think of some ways? Is it okay if I ask a question every now and then too?
Do what you
can
want to
just tell
do.
me to be quiet here.
Well, I just will. But
Oh,
that was a good
okay,
question.
I believe it.
Not like, I don't know. I mean, because like my mom's done it, she's gone through what I, been through and all that, so I don't know.
But probably,
Maybe.
like I said, when she went through it, it wasn't
That,
the public kind of. I mean, with 1/3 of women being single moms, this is getting. I think it's gone up like 400% since the 60s, where more and more women are choosing at any age to go ahead and have a child single. So.
I'm going to guess about some ways that I think you might be different. And this is true false, okay? So you can tell me where I'm wrong. I bet you that one of the ways that's different, is this okay to do this? Okay, but one of the ways that's different is that you really know that it's okay to have feelings and that it's really important for your daughter to be able to express her feelings. And our moms didn't know that so well, most of our moms. And I bet you that's a big difference.
Yeah, and I think I would understand my daughter, more like, I don't know, it's weird.
Well, and we have more, you're getting exposed through the groups and through leading them to education that, you know, most of us never get. Like,
Yes.
you know, I mean, I certainly didn't take classes when I was a teenager on how to express feelings and how to negotiate and how to, I mean, you just sort of
Yes.
figured it out and you hope you got it or you didn't. So,
Mhm.
you know, I think in some ways, you know, this has been a marvelous opportunity.
Yes.
One of the other things that came up, though, is this idea of sometimes young women will look at the job market and get afraid. And one of the things that came up in this list was that maybe some young girls decide to go ahead and have a child to sort of be a mom because they might be afraid of having to go out and compete in the job market. Do you think that could be, have you ever seen that?
No, not
No?
really. No.
Okay. So most of the girls you know are doing it more because they want to be moms and not because they're trying to not do something else.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Because, you know, that is one of the stereotypes.
Yes.
You know, that teenage moms have babies so they can rake in big bucks from,
Uh-huh.
you know, from welfare and never have to work. And what I know to be true from working
Yeah.
with lots of women is, first of all, you don't get rich
Yeah.
on welfare, okay? And you're not, it's not like if you have a child you don't work,
Yes.
you know?
Not hardly.
Yeah.
I am curious about if what makes the difference between, like, there's not a, I don't hear about a lot of abortions happening. And the young women who decide to keep their babies, even though it's going to mean a lot of extra hassle in their lives, what makes you guys decide to keep your babies? That's a very big question.
Well,
And not
that's-
abort, you know?
Yeah. Well, my main reason was, you know, to have something to live, you know. But I don't know about other girls, how they feel, you know. Mostly while my friends, the ones that I'm around with, they are teen moms, they, that's the main reason too, is because they want something to live, you know. So,
Well, and there's probably some religious and cultural issues that come into. I mean, were you raised Catholic?
yes.
Yeah. Do you still participate in the Catholic Church?
Yes.
At least on holidays? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So there may be some things about that too, which is, that's not terribly supported
Yes.
in your particular faith.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let's take a look at our next graph. Let's get some more ideas about things that may or may not be true for you and your friends. Providing an intense focus of attention on a teen at a time when they might be feeling ignored or isolated. Hope of recreating themselves when they don't like themselves. Hope of having a second chance through parenting to do things better this time. You know, a lot of moms I know at any age, this last one about I want to be a different kind of mom than my mom, or I want to do it differently this generation. I want to give my kids things I didn't have. Do you ever hear that in the groups when you're facilitating?
Sometimes, yes, that's the way I feel, you know. I want to give my daughter what I didn't have, you know.
Okay.
So I see it that way.
Okay. What kind of things do you want to give her?
I don't know, I want to give her, like, what I didn't have. I don't know, like, just normal, like, her own room, you know, like, her car when she grows up, you know, her savings for college and those kind of things, you know.
So you plan for her to get educated?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't look like an option. Okay.
Yes.
So that may be another thing that you want her to definitely have that didn't come easy to you, is to be educated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the smartest way to do that is as a role model. And what I know is that,
Yes.
you know, if you want a child to read, you don't tell them to read, you read in front of them.
Yes.
You know, you want a child to go to school, you go to
You go
school
to
and you do homework, you know, and I think
Yeah.
that's the strongest message in the world.
Yes.
You know, there's so many choices for girls right now, or women. I think that sometimes women get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You know, it was easier when we could be a mom, a nurse, or a teacher. Okay, we could be one of those.
Yes.
And now we can be a lot of things. And I would guess that, you know, helping your daughter see her choices is going to be a big job.
Yes.
You know, that actually you could go to school and rake in money and take care of you when you're old.
Yeah.
How about this thing about a lot of attention? Did you find when you got pregnant you got a lot of attention from your family, or that was one of the things that was mentioned, that sometimes kids are feeling ignored or not very special, and then they get pregnant and they get presents and people
Yes.
pay attention.
It didn't happen to me, but to a lot of teenage moms, that's how they got attention, was when they got pregnant. Because they feel like their sisters or brothers get more attention than them. And that's why they, they go out,
Okay. And then what happened when they had the child? Did the attention continue?
No.
No. See, that happens for all moms.
Yes.
Every mom I know, the upfront part's really cool. And then they have the baby and everybody goes, well,
Who's going to take care of it now?
who's going to, yeah.
So.
And I would think in leading your groups, that's a really important piece for the girls to hear, which is that it is a time-limited excitement thing, you know. And I know a lot of adult women I talk to who go through a period of almost depression or sadness after having a child because that part stops.
Yeah.
And they find themselves up at 2 in the morning and nobody's standing there going, yay.
Yeah.
They're just doing what they got to do.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that happens in the groups that kind of addresses that is where, starting in the second session, we start to make safe people lists where we kind of get clear on what makes another person good to talk to. If you have something that you need to talk about, who are you going to pick to talk to about it? And so by the end of the time, everybody has a pretty clear idea of who's going to be a really useful person in your life to share things with. And why that's important is that so often we pick people we either isolate, we don't have people to share things with, or we pick people that aren't worthy of our trust because they're going to go blab to somebody else, or because they're going to be drunk, or because they're going to use it against us in some way. So that's one of the things, is to kind of create that sense of, okay, how do you connect with people that are really worth connecting with? And
what occurs to me about that is one of the things, we've done shows on kids and violence, kids and guns, that kind of thing, girls and gangs, all sorts of things. One of the things that our guests have sometimes said is another reason for pregnancy for young girls is to get out of the gang culture, that is a way out. I don't know, do you know, I mean, in terms of doing the groups, is that something that's ever come up?
No.
No, okay, so in your experience, that doesn't change their participation in gangs one way or the other?
Yeah.
really?
Okay.
They take their little babies along with the gang
I mean,
stuff?
it's like, I don't really know, like,
It's a tough one.
It's hard,
It's a tough one. Yeah, I'm sure they don't put the little backpack on,
Yeah.
okay.
I remember.
But we do need, I'm sorry
Oh,
to interrupt, we must close. I want to thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you.
And I want to thank you for
inviting
joining us. Pop in next week when we learn about issues involved in international adoption. I'm Mary Crocker Cook. Good night.
For topic suggestions, write to Bay Area Psychology at 1723 Hamilton Avenue, Suite A.